Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe. If you dare. Being home alone for the night and turning all the lights off in your house before going to sleep, FS me up. Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. What is a random thing that gives you severe anxiety? Number 1. Those stupid first day of school / first day of work things where you say your name and tell a few things about yourself. I rehearse it so many times in my head that I always spew out my words at 100 miles per hour. Number 2. Commenter. Driving down a 2-lane highway at night, I assume every car I pass is gonna end my life. Person B. Especially when they have those unnecessarily bright headlights, and you can't even tell what lane they're in, so you stare at the road directly in front of your car, clenching the wheel, trying to stay perfectly in your own lane until it passes. Person C. Driving. I'm always making up scenarios in my head that could result in death or other bodily injuries. Especially if I need to pass an 18-wheeler or something. Person D. Just the thought of driving a car gives me severe anxiety. I have had my training permit for almost 2 years and I can barely drive at all. Number 3. The thought of oversleeping something while in bed. Freaks me out, then I cannot stop thinking about it even though my alarms always wake me up every morning. Number 4. Commenter. When someone interrupts me when I first start talking and everyone else just picks up on what they said and the whole conversation just moves on. Like, I understand that some interruptions happen, but when I literally can't even get a word and I feel ready to scream. Person B. I hate this. Especially in meetings when you're expected to bring up your ideas. Person C. This happens to me so much. I don't know what it is, but people don't hear me, or ignore me. I think it's been happening less because I've gotten louder, and I've tried to make my personality more noticeable. But that's the worst feeling, everyone moves on without you and you instantly feel like you're not part of the group. Number 5. Commenter. Knocks on the door when I'm not expecting anyone. Drives me insane and scares me for no reason. Person B. My mom told me that my grandpa used to get scared and hide when someone would knock or ring the doorbell. She said it was because when he lived during the Great Depression, there would be debt collectors knocking on the door, and in response his family hid and ignored the door. Weird thing is, my mom has done that as long as I remember, and I catch myself doing it too. I have to wonder if it's like an anxiety-related behavior that got passed on. Number 6. Commenter. Being home alone for the night and turning all the lights off in your house before going to sleep, FS me up. Person B. I used to hate having to turn the last light out then sprint to bed. I always feared that a hand would grab my ankle as I was about to get in, which resulted in me taking terrifying flying leaps in the dark to the safety of my comforter. Problem has been resolved with the purchase of a clap light. Call it old-fashioned or whatever, but that thing is fantastic. Number 7. Commenter. We need to talk. That's alright, I didn't need normal blood pressure today. Person B. If someone says this to me, I will do everything I can to make that talk happen right then and there. I can't take the feeling of dread for a whole day. Let's just talk now then. Person C. Holy shit, my wife sat down next to me one day and said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something." And the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I frantically retraced my steps over the last year trying to think about something I did or didn't do that was immediately going to bring my marriage to a crashing halt. Why do some guys wear those, like, leather necklaces? Like, what's the appeal with that? That's your question? That's why you need to talk to me. That's why you just gave me a mild heart attack. Person D. My boyfriend said this to me yesterday actually. While I was at work. I called him and he said he wants to wait till I get home. I had to sit at work for 3 miserable hours re-evaluating my life. Turns out he was just mad at me for not doing the dishes. Number 8. Commenter. When my gas tank is nearing empty. I always make sure I have enough money for gas. But damn, the closer it gets I find myself checking it every 2 seconds and I get so anxious. Person B. For some people it isn't even a money thing. My husband thinks it is more of a time thing. He gets annoyed having to stop for gas. Our car makes a beep noise when the light comes on, and it gives me mind-boggling amounts of anxiety, namely because last summer my husband was adamant that we could make it to the next exit while driving the Pennsylvania Turnpike. We didn't. Number 9. Commenter. I deliver pizza, so anyone that doesn't answer the door within 1 to 3 minutes. I'm just standing there wondering if a bunch of punks are effing with me, staring through the window, Snapchatting at me or some shit. Person B. I manage a pizza place, and anytime my late night drivers take a little too long to make it back, I'm flipping out thinking they're getting robbed or something. It's usually them just meandering instead of coming directly back, but still. Side note, being Snapchatted without my knowledge also gives me anxiety. Number 10. Commenter. Being late. Even if it looks like I'll be delayed by just 5 minutes, I start to feel so sick that I'd rather just go home than show up late. Even being right on time leaves me flustered. Person B. I'm the same way, and it really hurt me in college. I had classes starting at 7 a.m., and I lived over an hour away from campus, so I had a really long commute. Sometimes when I'd show up even a few minutes late, I'd stand outside the class, frozen with anxiety. I'd try to hype myself up enough to go inside, but a lot of the time I'd just end up going to sit in the library. Person C. Absolutely. No one ever understands, but I can't be late for things. I just can't. I feel like I'm wasting someone else's time, and I feel like I've absolutely disrespected someone if I'm late to something. I've always believed that if you show up on time you are late, I must be 5 to 10 minutes early. Also, I don't mind waiting. If other people are late by up to 10 to 15 minutes it doesn't bother me much, 20 to 30 minutes though I get really angry. Number 11. Commenter. Emails from the financial aid office. Person B. Oh dear God. I got an email from them last weekend for the first time in a while, and my first thought was that something was wrong and they were suing me or something. Then I opened it and it was just about how loans accrue interest. Nearly shat myself. Person C. That was the worst in college. Especially considering that my living situation would have disqualified me for my scholarship. Number 12. Commenter. When I'm in the bathroom and someone knocks or tried to open the door. Person B. This is the worst. I was using a restroom in this tiny restaurant, and I thought I locked the door. Just as I was finishing up, this woman started opening the door, so I have to hold it shut. She keeps pushing harder, and at this point I'm yelling someone's in here. So I let her in after I wash my hands, and she had the nerve to snap at me for not locking the door. Like, WTF lady, I thought I locked it, but also you're the pushy one? I ran out of that place and still haven't gone back. Too mortified. Number 13. Commenter. Anything that reminds me of my ex. Person B. There are singers that I can't listen to because they sound too similar to my ex to this day. Almost 2 whole effing years after our breakup. It's not even about her, I don't miss her anymore, and I've moved on quite a bit, but those few damn singers still give me anxiety like hell. Person C. My God, this one is the worst. I usually throw away gifts after a breakup, but some stuff you just can't throw away because you effing need them. Like, my ex bought me another PS4 controller so we could play together. I can't just throw away a perfectly good controller just because she got it for me. Person D. Same. 6 years later. I didn't even feel anything special during the breakup. I understood why and was expecting it to happen. Even before the relationship happened I knew it wouldn't last forever, but I still believed somehow. So one would think I can just move on the next day and never think about it. Nope. A video is on Facebook? Heart racing while watching it because of the fear knowing that just 2 centimeters up and you can search for your ex name and she'll show up. The worst thing about the brain is how awful it is to remember the actual looks, memories of the person. Instead you get these semi-realistic flashbacks of how they were or are, and they are in most cases very untrue and almost made up. The flashbacks I have in my mind of how my ex looks is like on a whole noodle level, a living angel that beats any model in the world. Then you get to meet her again and you're like, oh boy, is this really the person I'm so up about? The mind kinda adds value to things that are not there anymore. Number 14. Commenter. When I have to interact with new people in general. I'm not even bad at it, it just gives me so much anxiety to know I'm going to have to meet a new person. The worst is when starting a new job and you have to meet everyone, but also make a good impression. Number 15. Commenter. Going to the dang dentist. Person B. The worst part of being anxious at the dentist is that it makes the Novocaine wear off quicker. I've had many excruciatingly painful appointments because the pain meds keep wearing off and then I've reached the limit they can safely give me. At this point I don't go to the dentist at all anymore. I'd rather lose my teeth. Person C. I always think that I'm not afraid of the dentist, but I only go about once every 10 years. When I do finally go, I'm outwardly calm, but there are tears falling from my eyes the whole time in that damn chair. Number 16. Driving anywhere that I have not been before. The Maps app on my phone is a lifesaver and has saved me so many panic attacks. One time, I drove my friend to her boyfriend ATM's house in the neighboring town, and on my way back I got turned around, and after a little bit I knew I was going the wrong way, but I just kept driving. Like, for miles. Not sure why, it was like my anxiety was paralyzing me from making a decision lol. Number 17. Commenter. Police officers. Person B. True. I work at a gas station, and I don't know why but I'm always anxious when I have to help a police officer. I'm very friendly with customers, but I feel like if I'm overly friendly to a police officer then they'd find me suspicious. Or if I'm not friendly enough. Number 18. Public transport. I mean, probably calling what it gives me severe anxiety might be too much, because I wouldn't be able to go to college or whatever otherwise. But you have to be paying attention to so many things. Where you have to get down, not forgetting something, watching out for pickpockets, trying not to bother or offend anyone, all of this and more surrounded by a lot of people you've never seen. I don't know, I'm kinda used to it now but I still dislike it. Number 19. Grocery stores. It's a combination of the hordes of hungry people, the awkward carts, I always get the one with a F-up wheel, and their sizes, tight aisles, and the general layout of the store. I know they're designed in a way to promote shopping with certain music and ambience but man do they give me mad anxiety. How is a person to pick between 15 different toothpaste brands and within each brand there's a subcategory of flavor, effectiveness, ingredients, all marginally similar I know, cost and value. The whole ordeal of shopping has always been difficult for me and even in saying this there are people with no options for this stuff. I feel like a suburban douche. Number 20. Commenter. Extremely pregnant women. The fact that a baby could shoot out at any time freaks me the F out. Person B. I hate pregnant bellies. Everything about them gives me the willies. The skin stretched so tight that sometimes you can see the baby move. The weird way it makes pregnant women walk. The sheer presence or enormity of it. When they're really big, I feel like I notice the belly first, then the woman. And that enormity and presence is juxtaposed with this weird sense of fragility. Like, I just want to go over to the pregnant woman, help her sit down, and then get far away. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.